Greetings everyone, it is currently Friday the 2nd of January at 1:52 p.m. There is a brief nip in the air in London. Here I am on the 5th story of my apartment complex, and probably the 400th story of this bridge. Perhaps I will gut the entirety of this mountain and make some mega condo, or just like this mega, is condo the right word? I think that's an American word and I'm not clearly from that world. So a lot of stuff's been going on. I say that, not much, just a couple of aesthetic improvements. One great new feature, I suppose, that will forever revolutionize how I get to and fro, because the problem with building a fucking sick pleasure palace like this up so high is that it's pretty hard to get up or down. I mean, of course there's the stairs, but let's just imagine that you're a real human being. Yeah, surely the most hard thing for anyone to imagine watching this. It's, coming downstairs is shits and giggles, but coming upstairs, you need some quad strength. And it's always very humbling when I'm in real life situations doing the sort of, the 9/11 firefighter sort of challenge sort of thing, where you realize, I'm having a problem getting up 2 flights of stairs, whereas the firefighters in New York, they had to go up all that with all this equipment on. That's great that I went onto a terrorist disaster of the early 2000s this early into the video, but regardless, here we are in Minecraft again on the 2nd of January. Maybe let's just stop yapping and show you guys what happened. So I've been developing the interior of the bachelor pad. So thank you very much to whoever left the comment about how to ensure these larger oak trees, by the way, by planting the, or putting a block sort of to the side of the sapling. It's worked with about a 80% success rate. The problem is just when it doesn't work and I want to get rid of these trees, of course, the leaves will attach themselves. So I will have to do some pruning, but that's show business. So anyway, I need to figure out what's going on here. This just feels like I added this for scale just to give it like an interesting looking silhouette, but perhaps I need to advance on the upper layers. And this too, it's all very good. Maybe I do a balcony, but the dirt here, I'm not sure whether that's entirely working. The vines have taken on a life of their own, which I'm very glad for. Maybe to some, it looks like I've been a little bit lazy with my trimming, but, I kind of want this kind of stuff. I remember when the jungle biome released, what was that, 1.7, 1.8? I remember I was very young, I was with my best friend at the time, and we went around each other's house and we made a fucking YouTube video, and we were like, we're happy to announce the ocelot is part of the game. Got about 13 views, which was essentially 1 million back then. But let's, again, stop fucking chatting. Here we are. So as you can see, I'm rich. And by that I mean there's just these refined stone blocks, stone bricks, all over the floor. So this took longer than I'd care to admit. But that's a real sign of success and survival, right? When you can tell, like, I haven't just put shit down to maintain, what would you call, like, the words consistency with everything else, just like a stone block. But I've also taken those stone blocks and I take it one step further. I think this looks pretty good. It doesn't really look chic. It doesn't really look comfortable. If someone said, do you want to come back to my house? And I said yes, and then they brought me into here, I'd be quite confused, because this gives off a warehouse type of vibe. But perhaps I'll keep it open. Perhaps I'll make it so there's are in rooms. I've tried to do that, but I've tried to keep it open plan. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, let's just quickly. Well, what a great segue, ladies and gentlemen. I need to make it so it's daytime, because as cozy as this looks, it is nice that both windows face the direction of the sun and the moon. That's pretty cool. But I want to create a sensation of daytime. One of our great sensations, vitamin D. And as you can see, a failed attempt here. I don't think that sapling will grow, but let me take you to the bedroom. So I'll let you guys just like take a look around. It's super unparalleled. There's no, corridors and doorways are super, not consistent with each other, but that's kind of the way I like it. And there's still some exposed floors. Sometimes I'll wake up and there'll just be a zombie free roaming around. So there's also a lighting issue, but it's giving off like a stable vibe. But and that's humiliating. I'll have to fix that at some point. But you can see here's the strip mine. Haven't really done much there other than spelunking that massive cave. You guys weren't kidding when there was like a cave update. These things are massive, but there's always that fear of, sorry, this is the bedroom, as you can see, painting, That's what I remember to make, and I need to go out on a quest. Maybe that's the next episode, to sever the fucking cloth off the sheep, and just go on a mass killing spree, so I can make a double bed, maybe a different color. Maybe I don't know why this one's blue. I don't even remember making this one. It must have been when I made this 2-3 years ago. All right, daytime. So I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, how do you? This is less of a Minecraft technical question, but more of like a human scared anxiety question. How do you is there like a new technique of just like remembering where you're going down in mines? Because I'm trying to create like little arrows out of cobblestone that just sort of let me know if I'm going too deep, like where I might have come from. But I'm always a little bit sort of cautious about going too deep into caves, because I just think, what if I can't get home again? Is the tactic just to dig straight up again and find a map? Oh, I need to build a cartography table. I found out about that because I got my first map, and it was super, like it might have been going 2 centimeters each way, so it was barely anything. But I found out that it's super easy to expand it, and I got sugarcane growing out my arse, so I've got enough to make paper on days. So yeah, maybe lots of fun. As you can tell, I'm super excited about this, which really diminishes my prospects for a bountiful 2026, because I got a lot of work stuff to do. In fact, I had to just finish a job for a client earlier this morning, and all I was thinking about every time I sort of tabbed out of this editing software, I was thinking, I could just check on the house. I could just check on the leaves. I could, all that kind of stuff. Very dangerous to be getting into this game when you're trying to be self-sufficient financially. But that's show business. I ain't a kid anymore. So what else was I going to show you? Of course. All right. Well, I might have to craft something if I haven't done this right. Okay. Yeah, you probably saw what it was, but I've been trying to do this for a while because it used to be my favorite thing. Do you remember there was this Minecraft video called Minecraft Interstate, and it was someone who'd built like just I don't know whether it was in creative mode or survival. What am I talking about? Of course it was in creative mode. And it was just a minecart going really, really far. And my kind of intro into gaming in general was Roller Coaster Tycoon. I just loved building roller coasters. I just loved track and how this sounds super, super. You know what it sounds like. I'm not into trains, but I became very obsessed with sort of tracks and carts and wheels that go on them. So much, in fact, that I actually built real life track with PVC pipe and MDF lighting track sort of stuff to make a roller coaster in my garden before I was like, this just isn't financially sustainable. So this was when I was young, by the way. This wasn't like last week, or maybe it was. So I found there's loads of tracks here. So anyway, I built this going all the way down. It looks ugly, so before I do it, just know that it looks pretty ugly. And I'm pretty sure that I've got redstone thingy tracks down there that will like stall us, so it won't be a smooth trip all the way to the bottom, but it will be what it is. I was just going to say something else, but I've completely forgotten it. Oh yeah, so in some of the spelunking that I've been doing, I've come across the mine shaft things. Structures, where I got a lot of this rail from. I made most of this, but I got a lot more and some other cool stuff. I'm up to like 14 diamonds now. I don't know what's the best thing to first use diamonds on. But am I right in saying that those mine shafts will lead me to potentially like a strongholdy sort of thing? Or like, will that lead me anywhere? And what's the deal with mob spawners? Those little like caves with the little mob thing in the middle. And how do I do animal farms? Well, hell of a book by George Orwell. But, I do realize that I'm sort of breading it up, and bread does sort of nothing to sate the hunger. So, I'd like to have some accommodation for bovine creatures and swine at some point. But that's all to come. Anyway, let me show you this. So, as you can see, I found some chains as well. If it wasn't a give go that I found the stronghold. So, as you can see, again, this is super ugly, but it takes us down. I'll just let the sound do the talking here. Okay, well, not for much, but I keep on trying to nudge. This blows. This is a real Magic Mountain of Disneyland gone wrong, sort of. Yeah, this sucks. I mean, this does sort of feel realistic if you were going down into a real mine shaft, but that's the difference. This isn't a mine shaft. And there's the other one. Shit, the bed. No way. All right, okay. Okay, cool. And then this area I have to be careful about. Okay, so this is kind of my landing station that I put together. And I built this thinking it was fine. There was just a couple of creatures because naturally it was a dark area. And then I realized there was this little grotto down here. And I kid you not, at least 45, enough to fill the O2 arena. Creepers and skeletons and all that. And this place was like a little Hiroshima. This was kind of not even like this. There was just explosion on explosion on explosion on explosion. The grass has grown over it, so it doesn't. But it was a real cataclysm happening here. So probably the worst place to come out of. But what a great view, I suppose, of the different travel networks. And I need to just. I mean, I've come out in an area which it's still very hard to get back into the mountains. So, and I'm struggling to get enough gold to keep on making these tracks that go all the way up. And then I need to hide the redstone torches. This will all become a lot more aesthetic. I don't know whether that's my priority right now, but it's nice to have something to get up easily. So I think probably that's my next priority, is just to connect this path around to the front, just so at least I come out in an area that I can do stuff with. And then, like I mentioned in the last video, I kind of got this fucking insatiable hunger to build a massive wall around all this and just cut down every tree within it. So it really feels like my land. The real colonizer British Empire coming out of me. It's strange that it took Minecraft in order for that deep-sated thing in my bones to come out. Who am I kidding? I come from Poland, my ancestors, and Germany. Uh-oh. Not great. Not great. What am I talking about? Sorry, this might have been the most gone yapping on the back of the door sign video yet, but here's where we're at. I'm pretty proud of this. More stuff to come. Thanks anyone who is finding this stuff, and I'm glad that it seems to be connecting with people, recapturing a time in Minecraft's past. Well, Godspeed, stay frosty, and Happy New Year again.